Japan's latest patented technology, the emGuarde. EM stands for electromagnetic, guard, which means we want to guard against all these electromagnetic radiation that affects our body. Going to our childhood, when we were young, do you ever remember playing games like this? Playing with erasers in a classroom, playing outdoors. Yeah, I see David nodding his head. Yeah, you remember all of these games, right? We used to be so outdoors. We used to be so interactive with nature. We used to be interactive with friends. But what do we see nowadays? Do we see this nowadays? If you go into a cafe or a restaurant, did you ever notice if you look to your left and right, majority of the time, families in this digital age are all on their phones. Children are on their tablets, parents are on their phones. If you've ever seen that, type P in the group chat. Type P for phone in the group chat. If you have ever experienced those kind of, you walk into a restaurant, or you're waiting for a lift, everyone's just holding their phone, or you're waiting for a cab or a taxi, or you're waiting for something, and everyone's just looking on their phones. No one's talking to each other anymore. Exactly. This is the digital age that we're living right now, and there's nothing wrong with it. However, we have to learn how to navigate these situations, because our education, we learn so much from right now from YouTube, from educational platforms. We do our business with it. We talk with our friends and family from across the ocean with FaceTime, Zoom. All this actually is convenient for us, but all these devices in the long run does affect our body. So let's look into it. Now, there are different types of pollution, but once again, we're going to look at the electromagnetic radiation pollution that we cannot see. A lot of people refer to it as the silent killer. So let's look at what NASA says. In this video animation right here is taken from NASA. All your devices in your living room right now, including the device that you're looking at right now, either your laptop or your phone, all this, your TV, your air conditioning, your plugs, your refrigerator, your microwave, your laptops, iPhone, tablets, all this emits a kind of EM radiation. But let me ask you something, my friends, 89 of you here. If you notice all these devices emits a kind of radiation like a wave, if you actually put on your radiation glasses and you actually look around in your living room right now and you see all these rays coming out from your devices, would you or would you not allow your loved ones to sit in the living room for hours? Computer for 4 to 6 hours. If that's something that, hey, you know what, I don't think it's not safe, type S in the group chat. Type S if you think like, I don't want to put my loved ones in this kind of living room situation with all this EMR going through our body, going through our brain, going through our eyes, affecting our organs. And I will show you soon how it's going to affect our organs. It's going to be a very interesting study. Okay, now there's different types of EM radiation sources earlier, as I mentioned, but let's look into the major ones that are quite common nowadays. We have the air conditioning. I believe those of you who live in a city, right, in the metro, or majority of the time we have air conditioning. But let's really think together. You sleep under air conditioning, probably like 8 hours of sleep. You wake up, you have your breakfast, you go into your car or go into a public transport, an LRT or train station. All of this emits also under air conditioning. And then you go into your office, maybe a 9-to-5 job, under air conditioning. You look up right now, I'm actually under an air conditioning right now by Panasonic. You're constantly being under air conditioning. After work, you drive home in your car, air conditioning, you eat, you go sleep, under air conditioning. This, I'm just trying to show you an example of how we are constantly being bombarded by radiation, EMR radiation, 24/7. Even your Wi-Fi router, especially for those of you, if you can, before you go to sleep, turn off your Wi-Fi. If you can. It's best if you turn off your Wi-Fi because it does affect your sleep. Even your television, don't sleep with your TV on. I know some of you, it's so tempting to watch Netflix, your Korean drama, your Squid Games, and just go to sleep like that, but it emits a kind of EM radiation. Even high tension cable areas. If you look in your country right now, can you imagine? Can you select a few areas that you think, hey, there's a high tension cable around this area, and if you notice, those kind of properties are usually cheaper than the rest of the areas. If you actually notice that properties in high tension cables are a lot cheaper, so that's a big hint that we have to be aware of. Even your microwave. I'm a public health graduate from HPU, Hawaii Pacific University, and one of the subjects that we learned about was EMR radiation. And one of my professors was saying, like, if you can, do not use your microwave. If you can. I know some of us are very busy on our schedule, but if you have the time, trust me, just take the extra effort and heat up your food on a pan. It's so much more safer, because in the microwaves, how it's conducted, after 30 seconds, your food becomes from cold all the way to piping hot. It changes the molecules of your food, and that's the molecules you're actually ingesting in your body. So in the long run, if you can, I know nowadays it's quite hard, we all have busy schedules, but if you can, just heat up your pan in the food. Your food in the pan in the food. Even your iPhones. Who here, okay, for ladies, 104 of you right here. Ladies, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to type in the group chat. Where do you normally keep your phones? Where do you normally keep your phones? Type in the group chat, and I would love to hear from you. Hi, Emmanuel. Ladies, where do you normally keep your phones? Type in the group chat. Some of you are like thinking, there's no right or wrong answer. Don't worry, there's no right or wrong answer here. In my bag. Yeah, Arlene is saying in my bag. Kangen water beside me. I do have my phone beside me too, yeah. So usually women, we keep our phones in our bags, right? Normally, majority of the time, we carry handbags. But with men, for those of you here, even including David and some of you here, where do you keep your phones? Where do you store or keep your phones with you when you go out? Type in the group chat. Oh, the men is easy. Pocket or in my bag. Pocket or in my bag. Side pocket. Yeah, majority of the time, men keeps their phone in their pockets, either their front pockets on your pants pocket or the back pocket, right? But if you notice, if you put it beside your pocket or tuck it into your pocket, actually near your reproductive organs, reproductive system, it affects it in the long run. And later we're going to see how it affects it. And even for those of you businessmen here, I know some of you have business, you usually put it on the front of your coat, right? When you're wearing your business coat, it is actually near your heart. One of your most vital organs in your body is near your heart, which will affect in the long run. And for those of you here, your laptops, I mean, later, you know what? Later I'm going to show you the demo, and then we're going to see it together. Yeah. So these are the type of EM radiation just to bring your awareness to. What kind of EM radiation we're looking into? This is a wave of spectrum from non-ionizing to ionizing energy. So the ionizing energy, the right-hand side, if you see on your screen here, the red color zone, it's high energy, which means that it's like your UV, your X-ray. When you go into a hospital, now for those of you here, when you go into a hospital, oh, you know what? If someone, knock on wood, goes into a hospital, for example, goes into an accident, goes into emergency, the doctor says, hey, I need this person to do an X-ray or MRI scan right now. And if you've ever done any of those tests, did you ever realize when you go in to do those tests, the nurses notice how far they stand away from the device? Did you ever notice that? They stand about 14 feet away. It's like a protocol for them. Why? Because it's high energy. Those kind of energy actually deteriorate your DNA at a cellular level instantly. That's why we are not exposed to this kind of test every single day. It's only when urgently they need to see something, you're exposed to this in a short amount of time. What I want to bring your attention to is the non-ionizing energy. It's from 3 megahertz all the way to 1000 megahertz. So for example, your radio, your cell phone, your microwave, your power lines, all these were constantly bombarded 24/7. This is from the FCC, Federal Communications of Commission's bulletin. If you have really, really good eyesight, this bulletin came out in 1997. Imagine that. So based on the FCC exposure limit, the human body absorbs radio frequency energy at some frequencies more effectively than others, at a range of 30 to 300 megahertz. Such energy of electromagnetic waves can cause damage to cells and DNA, leading to an increased risk of cancer, mutations, and other health problems. Now, this is not what I say. This is what the Federal Communications of Commission say. And you might ask me, Eunice, I don't understand what they're talking about. What does this mean? In simple terms, what they've researched is that our body is also an electrical conductor. If you've ever been to any science back in high school or secondary school, our body is an electrical conductor. That's why we have ions in our body. But the other thing that I want to show you is that, did you remember like having, when you were studying in school, a lot of people suggest to you like, hey, you should on classical music because there's some kind of frequency to help your brain focus better. If you've ever heard that advice before, type M for music in the group chat. Type M for music in the group chat. Peya, I saw one female under her bra. I know some people do that too. Women, do not store your phone under your bra. Yeah, thank you, David. Yes, exactly. For those of you typing M, I know you guys are the ones who are studious in school, huh? Want to get A's, and I'm like that too. Hearing classical music, better focus, it helps your brain. Why? Why do they ask you to do that? It's because your brain emits a kind of frequency. If you see from this table here, your brain frequency is from 72 to 90. So sometimes in those classical music, that range will help your brain focus better because it's within that range for your brain to function optimally. Your human body, your heart frequency, your liver frequency, your pancreas frequency, even disease frequency starts at 58. Can you imagine that? If your frequency is low, disease can start at that range. Now, why am I telling you this, and what does FCC has to do with all of this? The FCC tells us that our body, we have a kind of frequency, right? Our body is most vulnerable, most susceptible to diseases, most affected between the range from 30 to 300 megahertz. 30 to 300 megahertz, if you see there, that range between your body organs frequency is between that range, 30 to 300 megahertz. So what does this have all to do? That means our body is most susceptible to this frequency. So we have to pay attention to this frequency. So I need a favor from everyone. Type 30 to 300 in the group chat. Type 30 to 300 in the group chat. That's when our body is most vulnerable to this kind of frequency. Thank you, G. Thank you, Kangen Waterhouse. Oh, Philippines, you are on it. Awesome. Now, who here taken a physics class? I personally did not take a physics class, so this is probably one of the most biggest topic that I've ever learned, but it's a very interesting topic, and I will show you really soon. Now, what does resonance theory, what is it all about? It means that earlier, as I mentioned, our bodies emit a kind of frequency. If the frequency matches the frequency internally and externally, it affects one another. But if it's emitting different frequencies, it will not affect as much. And so in this resonance theory, let's look at this video together. What happens to the ping pong ball when it's a different frequency emitted and when it's a similar frequency emitted? Let's watch it together. Wow, can you see that? Exactly. When it's the same frequency, it affects us. It affects our body in the long run, but we just cannot see it because it's internally, right? How can you see your blood cells? How can you see your heart and organ, right? Now, this is a radiation detector, which I will show you very soon, but hang on. let's go into how EM radiation affects our health. Like earlier, before we begin this Zoom meeting, I've asked you, have you ever experienced headache when you're looking at the screen for too long? Have you experienced numbness in your arm when you're holding your device for too long? Now, who is this? WHO. I know it's a very well-known organization, but let's look into what WHO shares about electromagnetic fields. Now, this was released in 2011, and I'm going to read it out to you. The classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans based on an increased risk for glioma, a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use. Now, this is not what I say. This is what WHO say. And why do they say possibly? Why do they include the word possibly there? If you think about it, if they actually mention as carcinogenic to humans, taking out the possibly word, oh my gosh, Apple and big companies will go running against, will come suing WHO, right? But this is not what I say. This is what WHO say. And guess what? For those of you here who prefers talking to clients on your phone, I'm pretty sure that's a better way to talk to your clients. But if you're talking to your clients on your phone after like 30 minutes, what happens after 30 minutes of being on your phone? Type in the group chat. I would love to hear your experience. After 30 minutes on the phone, what do you experience? Do you experience like your phone overheating? What do you experience? Do you feel like numbness? Yeah, Rita says numbness. Okay, for that iPhone earlier, yeah, you might need to later on after the Zoom session, just stay tuned to the end of the Zoom and we can chat about it. Yeah, pain in your ear and heat pain. Exactly. If you notice your phone heats, your face, your cheek starts getting red. It starts to sweat. Uncomfortable heat in your ears. What is happening here? EM radiation is affecting your brain, affecting your entire face. And guess what? After 30 minutes, you're like, ooh, it's getting hot now. What do? You go to the other ear, am I right? A lot of us, we tend to do that. But guess what? This is called cooking your brain. Well done on one side and then well done on the other. Our body is showing us, is telling us something, but we're just not aware of it. Feeling uncomfortable, exactly. All right, for those of you with iPhones here, if you have your iPhone, let's do a little exercise together. I'm gonna take my iPhone real quick. All right, for those of you with your iPhones, I'm gonna stop share for a little bit. I'm gonna take up your iPhones and go to settings. If you have, go to settings, all right? You go to settings and then you go to general. And then you scroll down, you go to legal and regulatory. Legal and regulatory. Where is it? And then go to RF exposure. For those of you here who are on it and typing really fast, any leaders here, you can type in what did I just mention? Settings, go to general, and then go to legal and regulatory, and then go to RF exposure. Now, you go to oh, sorry, you can't really see my screen because it's just all bright. But if you go to RF exposure, 1, 2, 3, 4, you go to the 4th paragraph, you see here, I'm gonna read it out to you what Apple is saying. To reduce exposure to radio frequency energy, use a hands-free option such as a built-in speakerphone, headphones, or other similar accessories. Cases with metal parts may change the radio frequency performance of the device, including its compliance with RF exposure guidelines in a manner that has not been tested or certified. So Apple, what they're telling you if you're talking on your phone, it's best to put on loudspeaker and talk away from your phone. Yeah, that's the best way when you're talking on your phone. Don't talk like this. Try your best. And even Apple put this like caution just to put it out there. They know the phones emit a kind of EM radiation. So they're putting that there to practically just, say like, hey, you know what, we already mentioned it to you. So if you have any problems, it's like what's the word? A cautionary thing. Yeah. the word comes back to me, but yeah. So that's a simple exercise. Even Apple addresses the EM radiation that is, it's an issue. Now coming back to the slide, this is from the Consumer Association of Penang. It is called the Low-Level Radiation Invincible Killer, Growing Threat from Electromagnetic Fields. Now this is a book that was released here in Malaysia. I'm sure all around the world, if you find books, there are plenty of resources and support resources out there that already talk about this. But I have the Malay Bahasa version, Radiasi Paras Rendah Pembunuh Halimunan. I got this from online, so you can just search it up online. It's a really, but why am I bringing it up is because look at that computer. Look at how old that computer is. That's like an old CPU unit, or even older than that, right? And look how old that Nokia phone is. Anyone remembers having a Nokia phone like that? If you are type N for Nokia in the group chat, if you've ever had this kind of phone, or like kind of like a Game Boy kind of version, you can tell my age, right? No, yeah, exactly. Why am I bringing this up? It's because even at this era, at that very old model phone time, they're already talking about low-level radiation. Now, let me ask you a question. Even if that time in 1990s, they're already talking about low-level radiation, do you think there's more radiation now or less radiation now with all of our devices around us? More, right? There's so much more radiation around us. Exactly. This is one of our crux of this presentation. If you see here, the symptoms of long exposure to EM radiation. Earlier, I mentioned we have a detector radiation, right? So if you see the digits on top, we have slightly dangerous category, dangerous, very dangerous, and health hazard. Now, we can measure this EM radiation with our detector, which I will show you in a minute. But look at the symptoms of how EM radiation has affected us in the long run. You have symptoms like body and muscle pain, numbness, concentration and learning problems, brain and leukemia cancer, memory loss, fatigue and lethargy, dizziness and balancing problems, heart problems, infertility, headaches and migraines, eye soreness and blindness, immune system recovery, sleeping problems, stress anxiety problems, DNA mutation, and skin irritation and rashes. Look at how much symptoms there are. Now, how do we know how much EMR radiation is coming off of our phones? Now, I want you to pay attention to the health hazard category here. It's 1,500 to about 2,000 microwatts. So we measure the EM radiation from our tablets, our air conditioning, our lights, all with the measurement of microwatts. So remember that digit, the health hazard zone. I'm gonna stop share for a bit. Coming back to me. All right, I'm gonna show you, I have the latest version, EMF radiation detector, the RD9300. And what I do is that I'm going to use this to measure how much EM radiation is coming off from my iPhone. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I got for my birthday last year, thanks to my father. Who here has an iPhone 14 Pro Max? If you have, type in P in the group chat. Type in P if you have an iPhone 14 Pro Max in the group chat. Right? Then you can clearly see, or if you have an iPhone, you can type it in. I'm going to show you how much EM radiation is coming off from my phone. But before that, as you can see, the emGuarde is right behind me. I'm going to bring it closer in a few minutes, but let me just do this quick demo for you. I'm going to turn the emGuarde off. All right? And let's see how much EM radiation is coming off from my phone. Remember the health hazard digit? Let's see, right? So it's about, sorry, let me go a little bit further. 2008, 1007, 2005. Why is it jumping? Because it's an energy wave. So EM radiation, look at how high the radiation is coming off from my phone. Look at how high that is. And I'm not even using my phone yet. I'm just putting it close to the radiation detector. Imagine how bad that radiation is. Now, you're like, Eunice, why are you measuring your arm? There's a reason why I'm doing this, okay? For those of you who have complained numbness in your arm, I want you to listen and look carefully. There's no radiation on my arm, but I had my nieces come visit me from Hawaii, and they love watching Netflix. They love Peppa Pig. They love Thomas the Train. And so I'm gonna do a quick demo. Why does your arm get numb? So I'm gonna turn on Netflix. For those of you who have Netflix, I'm gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna go to the kids. If my phone can turn on, it's a little bit slow. Let me see if my, all right. Turn on the kids. I hope you can see this on your screen. I think my Wi-Fi is really slow, but bear with me, okay? All right, I'm gonna do, let's see, Sing 2, okay? I'm gonna play Sing 2. Look at what happens to my arm. Wow, look at that. Yep. Now, did you see that? Did you catch that? That's why your arm gets numb. Why? Because it's traveling down your arm. Imagine if this is happening to me, what is happening to children's development when they're such at a young age, 2 to 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years. Imagine how that affects their development and their growth, right? Now, I'm gonna show you quickly how emGuarde works. Oh, actually, for those of you on an Apple laptop, I'm gonna go a little closer. You can see how much radiation is coming off from your laptop. I actually have to turn it this way, but I'll read it out to you. It's about 2000. I'm measuring my laptop right now, 2008, 2004. It's literally that around of health hazard range. So for those of you here, I've already tested Samsung, I've tested Huawei, I've tested Oppo, I've tested so many brands of phone. Everyone's like, which one has more radiation? I want to get the least radiation one. But I'm telling you, invest in an emGuarde. It's the best way. Now I'm going to show you how emGuarde works, all right? I have this with me. I'm going to turn this on. Bear with me. I only have 2 arms. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn on the emGuarde. Wow. Look at that. Straight to, I'm going to pause it for a sec. Straight to 0. Can you see that? Straight to 0. Wow. If some of you see this and you're absolutely amazed, type wow in the group chat. Type wow. If I bring it closer to my laptop, no sound, you don't hear the beeping. Wow, wow, wow. See, this way. emGuarde, the light is on, it's breathing, it's covering me and my entire family in the house. My whole family loves our phones. Instagram, Netflix, Facebook, everything. You know, we do our business on our phone, we do everything on our phone, chatting with my sister in Hawaii on the phone. Everything is through your phone now, but with this emGuarde, we are protected. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna bring it closer to you. Don't worry, we'll answer your emGuarde questions later on, but I just wanna show you real quick. This is the emGuarde. EM stands for electromagnetic guard, which means you wanna guard against the EM radiation from affecting your body. This is the light here, and literally it's like a bento box, yeah? I'm gonna talk more about emGuarde soon, but let's get back to the slide. Can you imagine how powerful this device is? Yeah, when I first saw this demo, I was like, no wonder my arm is getting numb. No wonder. And if you remember earlier, my phone was emitting about 2000, right? Which category does it fall on? It's the health hazard category. The health hazard category, which means this device, it's a health hazard device, my friends. And you're carrying around it in your pocket, in front of your heart. So now that you're more aware, just something to be a little bit more cautious of, yeah? Now, this emGuarde, what is it based on? This is based on Dr. Magda Havas's research. She is a Canadian researcher, and she researched how EMR affects our red blood cell formation. This is very important. Now look here. We have 3 boxes. What a healthy red blood cell in a clean EMR environment look like. This is what your red blood cell should look like. Out in the forest, near waterfall, having that healthy electrons, you're in a clean EMR environment. But with just 17 minutes of this very old model computer, but now we have Apple, right? Very fast and digital, but 17 minutes, look at how your red blood cells form. It's stacking. It's like a string of coins, or it looks like an earthworm. Some of you are like, it's an earthworm. It looks like an earthworm. Yes, exactly. She calls this rouleau formation. It's a French word. And just after 10 minutes of this very old, oh my gosh, this antenna phone, who uses this anymore, right? We have iPhones now. Look at how bad the formation of your red blood cell is. When it is stacking, looking like an earthworm, when it is stacking like a string of coins, what is happening here? It means that there is poor circulation, low oxygen transport. There is reduced waste removal. Why? Because the nutrients cannot pass through each of the cell. They're not moving around freely. They're clumping up together. That's why you get headache. That's why you get fatigued. That's why you have difficulty concentration. That's why you get numbness and tingling in your arm, in your extremities, because your red blood cells are stacking in rouleau formation. And interestingly, what she found was that, listen up, when she tested the cancer patient cells, this is what it looks like exactly in a cancer patient cell. So when me and my team saw this, we were like, whoa. This is very scary, right? And mind-blowing. And so what I did was that, you know what? I said, why don't we test this on ourselves? Let's put ourselves in a EMR environment. Let's test our red blood cell. And with emGuarde on, let's test how it changes or how it protects us, right? So this is a live video that I did. Now it's 2024. Oh my goodness, it's 2024 now. I did it with my dad, but what we did was that we put ourselves into two trials. The first trial, we played with our phones. The second trial, we turned emGuarde on and played with the same iPhone that I have right now, and we did a live blood test. So I'm gonna continue speaking, but I'm gonna play the video on, and let's watch it together. Yep, the first trial with our devices for 20 minutes, the same iPhone I'm using right now. And with the prick of my finger, we did a live blood test and look under the microscope. Watch what is happening here.
Eunice, how do you feel?
My red blood cells are clumping, are stacking together. This is rouleau happening right in front of my eyes with just 20 minutes of my iPhone use, or all phone use. And then the second trial we did was we played our phones, turned on emGuarde, the technology like emGuarde, and we did the live blood test once more, and let's look at the big difference. Look at that. Wow. My red blood cells with emGuarde on. Imagine that. Imagine that. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm a little bit more young. Maybe I can be more resilient. But no. No age is safe from EMR. Right? Oh, I should stop share. I wanted to go to the next slide. All right. Now, I'm going to show you the next slide. A before and after emGuarde. So before, this is my very own red blood cell live. So before, you see the red blood stacking, less circulation, less oxygen, less nutrient transport. And after, you see there is more space to move freely around. That's where your red blood cell should look like. There is more oxygen flow, nutrients are able to transport from one to another. This is what it should look like, right? And this is what it looks like with emGuarde on. This is what it looks like with emGuarde on, yeah? All right, the last three research I want to show with you. Earlier, I mentioned how it affects your eyesight. And a lot of people say, I think in the beginning of the Zoom, I said, who here feels like after a long time you have headache, or even if you squint your eye, you're typing your laptop for 4 to 6 hours, you look away, your eyesight is a little blurry, your eye gets dry. Let's look into what's happening when you're looking at the screen for too long. Now, this is Dr. Liu Renjie. He is a Taiwanese ophthalmologist, eye specialist doctor. He's a vice president of the Hezhongxin Hime Eye Hospital and a director of the Hime Hospital Aesthetic. What he did was he took 10 people, 10 participants If you see the table here, N equals 10, which means 10 participants, and he put them in 3 stages. The first stage, what he did was he measured the average blood flow speed of your eye, the microcirculation blood flow in your eye. And the average, the peak systolic velocity, the PSV, is about 20.1 out of the 10 people, and average is 20.1. In the second stage, he asked 10 of them, play on your phone for 30 minutes, and I'm going to re-measure the blood circulation in your eye. And my friends, guess what? Look at that average. It dropped from 20.1 to 16.2. Oh my goodness. And in the third stage, he turned on a technology like emGuarde on, and guess what? The average jumped up to 25.9. Wow, 25.9. Now, some of you may ask, hey, Eunice, in the first stage, they didn't play with their phones. Why is it even better than the first stage? Let me ask you a question. Even without your phones, are you still exposed to EM radiation around you? Your air conditioning, your microwave, your plugs, your TV, when you're walking in a shopping mall, when you're driving your car, all this emits a kind of EM radiation. So that's why it's even better than the first stage. So those are the factors that we have to take in factor of. Now, my Kangen members, for those of you earlier, you said you already have a Kangen machine. This is Killing Cancer, Not People. You are not foreign to this book. I have the book right here too. I've read this a few times already. Who here had this book? If you have this book, type K in the group chat. Type K in the group chat if you have Killing Cancer, Not People by Robert Wright. If you don't have it, if you're a reader and you love research, this is a great book for you to read in the meantime. But I want to bring your attention to this page right here. Now, even in this book, it addresses electromagnetic fields, EMF, cordless and cell phones, smart meters, computers, Wi-Fi, and their connection to autism, Alzheimer's, obesity, MS, allergies, cancer, and others. Now, even in this book, they're already addressing how EMF pollution includes decrease in human immune function and cancer. Yeah, and cancer. So they're, even in this book, they already talk about it. And of course, we all know the Kangen members, Dr. Odo. He's a 1931 Nobel Prize winner, and what he found out in his research is that all forms of cancer have 2 basic conditions: acidosis and hypoxia, the lack of oxygen. So early, remember, we learned about how your red blood cells, like you saw mine, there was lack of oxygen when there's rouleau formation. Deprive a cell of 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours and it may become cancerous. Now, introducing the emGuarde, the next essential appliance for every home and workspace. It harmonizes the medium to high frequency EMR up to 1 gigahertz. Now, a lot of you might ask, what is 1 gigahertz? It's 1000 megahertz, right? 1000 megahertz. So 1 gigahertz is 1000 megahertz. It defends your family and loved one against harmful invisible EM waves 24/7. It is the lowest maintenance, quick setup, and easy to use with lifespan of minimum 5 years. It is a patented technology. It is a patented technology. All right. Now you might ask me the next question, Eunice, what is the coverage? Let me show you. It is 8 meters of coverage of defense. It's designed to reduce the negative effects of EM waves and ensuring a safe and harmonious environment in your very own home. So 8 meters is like a sphere. It goes up and down like a sphere. It can go through walls, ceilings. If you place it a little higher, it can go up to 2 levels, up and down, depending on the position. And a lot of you might ask, Eunice, can I bring in a car? Absolutely, you can bring in a car. The back end of the cable is a USB port, so you can just plug it into your car. I have also brought it with me on a plane. Malaysian Airlines, I flew to Philippines, I flew to Kuching with it, and Taiwan. So it's absolutely safe. And yeah, it's a great device. I just want to make sure that me and my family are protected from EM radiation. Now, how does it work, you might ask me? Imagine your phones emitting EM radiation. What emGuarde does is sends out a specific harmonics frequencies that breaks the pathways between 30 to 1000 megahertz. It breaks the pathways of EM radiation from affecting your body. Now, some of you still like, I still don't get it, Eunice. It's okay. It's okay. Now, what the analogy I can bring here is like, imagine that pathway is like a train track. Your EM is like the train going through that pathways. And if you cut that train track, the train no longer
Recording in progress.
the train can no longer pass through. So what happens? It just goes down. So energy cannot be destroyed. It either could be converted or diverted. And so what emGuarde does is that it sends out a specific harmonics frequency to break that pathways. So that EMR radiation between 30 to 1000 megahertz may no longer affect you in the long run. All right, so this is also the Shenzhen Compliance Testing Laboratory. And just like that train track analogy, look at the before. Look at that electric field intensity from before and look at after. Remember the train track analogy? If you cut the train track, this is what it looks like, right? All right, now coming to the end of my first session, I'm going to go to my second session, which is the absolutely most exciting session that I enjoy sharing. So change your environment, change your life. emGuarde. The retail price is USD 1,480. I'm going to use the US currency because we have friends from all around the world. So I'm going to use the US currency. I hope that is okay with you. Now, let's go in. Now, a little bit more about the Enagic company. You're like, I don't know about this emGuarde. Where is this? Which company is it from? So it's from the Enagic company of Japan. Now, we have been here for 50 years. Some of you may be like, I've never heard of you. It's absolutely okay. We've been here for 50 years and we're most reputable from our Kangen machines. If you heard, oh, I've heard about Kangen water. Yes, it's from this company, Enagic company of Japan. We have 25 countries globally and 42 locations, which means we have global offices worldwide. Now, a little bit about what this company Enagic is that we are actually 50 years, coming to 2024, we are 50 years and running. We have the 50th anniversary happening in June in Okinawa. So some of you already bought your tickets. I will see you there. But we're reputable. We're reputable. Why? We're respectable. Why? Because of our ISO 13485, which means that it makes our Kangen water machines a medical device. It is a medical device. It's also endorsed by Dr. Hiromi Shinya, a lot of other well-known institutes. It's actually started, how this company started was first used in Japan hospitals in 1974, and then they made a domestic unit in 1994. It has 5 years warranty, like the SD50 model. It can last from 20 to 25 years. Now, don't mistake this for the emGuarde. This is talking about the Kangen machines. I just want to share with you what this company is about, yeah? Now, this is a quick, me and my team recently went to Osaka. We actually went to visit their facility in Japan, and we absolutely love it. The Japanese, they're so great. They're very humble, and they do things very, very detailed and meticulous. Even though it's slow, but it's detailed and meticulous. And the Japanese, when I talk to them, I can tell Japanese people, they don't do business for the short term. They do business for the long term. Yeah. So this is my team. We got to see how the facility was made, how the Kangen machines was made. We can't record a lot of the sessions, but because of the patented technology. But I just want to show you a little bit that we did visit the factory, and it was absolutely amazing. If you have the opportunity, go with your team. Now, coming to the Enagic business with emGuarde. Now, coming to our focus of emGuarde. Why is emGuarde such an amazing business to go into? There are a few reasons why, which I'm going to share with you. Number one, there are no monthly qualifications. There are no target sales for your direct sales. Number two, no inventory and stocks. Woohoo! Some of you who are in this business, you're like, oh, like F&B. You know, I know the F&B, the headache is all the stocks, right? Your expired stocks and all this and that. And even, for example, for businesses like F&B, let's take it for example. In order for you to start a cafe, you need to pump in about maybe 100,000. and then maybe put in more 600,000. This is Malaysian ringgit, sorry, I'm from Malaysia. 600,000 ringgit in order to sustain it for the next 6 months. And then after the 6 months, you're hoping, praying to God that you might make a profit majority of the time. But imagine with that kind of business, you have to pay rental, you have to pay your staff, you have to pay for their insurance, you have to pay for stocks, you have to pay for rental, you have to pay for storage unit, and this and that. There's a lot of unseen costs at play. But with this magic business, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with F&B. There's nothing wrong with F&B. I'm just sharing it as an example. Why I like this business is because I align with this business. There's no inventory of stocks, no headache to think about. The stocks are already covered by the company itself. By the company itself. There's no annual renewal. No annual renewal. It's based on group accumulative sales. It is a global business, as you see all around the map earlier. We have a patented compensation plan, which I will share with you very soon after this. And we have a legacy income inherited. Now, some of you may ask, what is this about? What is legacy income inherited? It's when you reach a specific rank in this business. For example, you reach a rank of 6A2-3, which means that you get a passive income of 5,000 USD per month, passive income. If something happens to you, knock on wood, you can actually pass it to your next of kin. So this is what legacy income inherited means. It is also an untapped market, my friends. You saw how EMR is not just happening in your family. It's not just happening in your community. It's not just happening in your society or country. It's happening globally, not just in your country, but all around the countries globally, right? And who needs an emGuarde? Every single person on this planet needs an emGuarde right now who lives near in the city, right? Now, there are different types of commission in this business. There are so many, but for the sake of time, I'm only going to show the 8-point commission system, the first out of the many commissions that this Enagic company pays out. Now, for those of you here, are you still with me? If you're still with me, type in GO in the group chat. Type GO in the group chat if you're still with me. Go, 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 go. Yeah. Awesome. I absolutely love your interaction, and I hope you're learning a lot in this session. I absolutely love sharing this from the bottom of my heart about emGuarde and about awareness. Thank you all. Awesome. All right, let's go into the business side of it, the most exciting part. For me, it's the most exciting part. Now, let's talk about direct sales and indirect sales. What is the difference? So for those of you who know, just bear with me. Direct sales is when you become a distributor in this business, which means you invest in one emGuarde, you sell it, let's say, to your friend. That friend buys it from you, which means you share about the emGuarde, they buy it from you, you get paid. That is called direct sales. Now, what happens when your friend sells it to their neighbors, their aunties, their friends and family? This is called an indirect sale. So direct sale plus indirect sale will give you your total group sales. I will share with you more how does that work in this business model. Now, Enagic, this 50-year-old Japanese company, has a patented compensation plan. This career path, they're very transparent with it. You can look it up online, but I'm going to share with you here. Now, there is a rank of 6A, 6A2, 6A2-2, 6A2-3, 6A2-4, and so forth. But what does this all mean? In this business, 6A means when you have a total of 200 plus emGuarde group sales. The 101 total group sale is based on your Kangen machine. That number is based on Kangen machine, but in emGuarde, just emGuarde, solely emGuarde is 200 plus. When you sold your total group sale of 200 plus emGuarde group sales and have 300,000 USD in accumulated group sales, you become a 6A, which means the company will reward you 3,000 one-time bonus. If you become a 6A2, you get a 6,000 USD one-time bonus. 6A2-2, 12,000 one-time bonus. 6A2-3. Look at here, a 25,000 one-time bonus and a 5,000 monthly passive income. passive income. In this business, if you're here for the long term, you get to build active income, leverage income, and passive income. Now let's look at what does all these 6A mean, okay? Let's look at it together step by step. Now, the 8-point commission system. Remember earlier, the emGuarde is 1,480. Now, 8 points means every time an emGuarde is sold, enagic sets aside $520 per sale for distributors and it's split to 8 parts. So 520 divided by 8, 1 point means 65 USD. So 1.65 USD, 2 points, you do the math yourself, right? Okay. So now let's go into, let's actually play in a simulation. Before that, this is very important too. Let's go through this. Now there are different ranks. Remember earlier there's a 6A rank. How do we get to a 6A? Let's see. You become a 6A. The first step is your first and direct sale. Your first and second direct sale, you get 1 point, which means you become a 1A, receiving 1 point for each sale. Your third to the 10th direct sale onwards, you become a 2A, which means you receive 2 points. So 65 plus 65 times 2 is 130, which means you get 2 points, 2A, and so forth. If you keep growing after 10 group sales, your next direct sale, you become a 3A, which means you get 3 points, $195. And then after 20 group sales, your next direct sale, you become a 4A, which means 4 points, $260. And then after 50 accumulative emGuarde group sales, your next direct sale, you become a 5A, which means each emGuarde sale is $325. And of course, the 6A. After you finish or accumulated 200 emGuarde group sales, your next direct sale, you become a 6A. Each point, each emGuarde sale will be $390, which you will get. Okay, so that's how you become a 6A. Now, coming to the last slide of tonight. Let's take an example. For example, let's do a simulation of how much commission you will get paid if you do this business. Let's take for an example, yeah? I'm not saying this is, let's take this for example. So you come into this business, you invest in your own emGuarde, 1,420. You invest in your own because the company states that in order to be in this business, you have to invest in one product, your own product, because you have to experience the product itself, right? When you sell your first direct sale to Tom, let's say, you become a 1A, which means you get a 1 point commission, which is 65 USD. Now, if you sell your second direct sale to Alex, 1A, you still get 65 USD 1 point. Now, if you sell your third direct sale onwards, you become a 2A, which means you get 2 points, which means 65 times 2, $130 for that emGuarde sale. Now, imagine Tom, he loves this emGuarde product so much. He says, wow, I have lesser headaches. Wow, I have so much better quality of sleep. I'm going to share this with Grace. When he shares this with Grace, this is called an indirect sale. You also get a commission of 65 USD. Now, all the green numbers is how much you would get. And if Grace sells to Polly, Polly sells to Arthur, you still get 65 USD per sale. Now, your next direct sale to Kim, how much of commission would you get? You're still a 2A. 2A means 2 points. 2 points means you get 130 points. 130 USD. Yeah? But let's see what happens. What happens if Kim says like, hey, I want to sell to Ali, Abu, and Ani. She's in your 2A lane. How much of commission do you think you will get? You also will get $130 from Ali, $130 from Abu, $130 from Ani. This is called leverage income, indirect sales. And after 10 group sales, Your next direct sale to May, you become a 3A. 3A means 3 points. How much is that? It is 195 USD. Right? Now, let's look back at Kim's group. Ani here figures, you know what? I want to sell this to Bryce. How much of commission do you think you will get? You will get $130. And some of you are like, hey Eunice, I did my 3A, sell to May. I should be getting $195, right? No. In this business, the patented compensation plan is that we always follow back the lane. Which lane did the sale come from? So Ani sell to Bryce. Bryce came from the 2A lane, which means you'll get 130 USD. Now, if Ani continues on to Ben, to Bob, you still get $130. To Joe, Bob sells to Joe, you still get $130. Now, Bob sells to Jack and sells to John, you still get $130. But if you do the math here, remember the emGuarde is 1,420? By this stage, you would have gotten back your investment capital already. Can you count? If you count all together, you plus all your commissions together, you would have gotten back your initial investment in this business, which is the emGuarde, 1,420. Now, let's continue on with this business. If John, let's say he sells to Don in this indirect sale, how much of commission do you think you will get? Now, think back. Earlier, we had the 8 point of commissions, right? The 8 points. That means there's only 8 points that are given out. You would think you would get 130, but let's count how many points left over for you. 1 point goes to John because John, like for example, he just started his business. He just sold his first direct sale to Don. He gets 1 point. Bob is already a 2A because he sold to 3 people, direct sale. He gets 2 points. Ani gets 2 points. Kim gets 2 points. You get 1 point left over. Right? Why? Because 8, you minus all of these points, you only get 1 more point left over for you. So that's called the 8-point commission system. So with John's sale, you would get 65 USD, 1 point. Now, if John continues sales to Dave, you get 65. And his third direct sale, he becomes a 2A. John becomes a 2A. Let's see how much points left over for you. Now, John becomes a 2A, which means he gets 2 points. Bob is already 2A, he gets 2 points. Ani's at 2 points. Kim gets 2 points. And then you get 0. Oh no. You get no more points left over for you. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Are you happy or not happy here? Happy or sad? Type in a group chat. No more commission for you already. Type in a group chat. Are you happy or sad? Happy or sad? I would love to hear your responses here. While I take a sip of my Yukon tea from Enagic. Cheers. Happy, happy, happy. Jimro gives me a wink. Is that a happy? Oh, I just got word from Simon. Simon says, sad. Super happy. It's a good thing. Why no more commission? Great question, Olive. Great. I love your honesty. You know, when I first saw this business, I'm like, no more points left over for me? What? I was not happy about this, to be honest. I was like, no, I want money, right? But exactly like what Lawrence is saying, it is a good thing right here. Why? Because it means that your team is growing. Your team is widening. Your team is expanding. More lives are being changed. More financial health is being changed in this business. So your team is growing. It is a good thing. Now, when you have no points left over for you, be mindful of this. This is called a non-8A sale. When you are not a 6A yet, this is called a non-8A sale, which means a non-8A sale do not count as a group sale if you're not a 6A. Yep, just like Alex said, this is my dad. Hi, Dad. Glad team is growing. Your team is working and growing the business. Exactly, your team is growing the business. It is a good thing. Now let's continue on. Your next direct sale to Tony, after 20 group sales, you become a 4A, which means you get 4 points. How many points is that? 260 USD per emGuarde sale in this 4A lane. And if you found a diamond person, who here knows Mr. Simon Lowe? I wish I had a Mr. Simon Lowe in my organization. I would fly, right? For those of you who are coming to the event on the 13th and 14th, you will definitely meet him. He will be there. And you will see why. Why is Mr. Simon Lowe so special? Now, you sell to a person, Mr. Simon Lowe, at 5A, which means you get 5 points after 50 group sales, your next direct sale. For that emGuarde sale, you get $325 for that emGuarde sale. But imagine, in your 5A lane, if Mr. Simon Lowe goes out there and sells, let's say, 10 emGuardes, you would have gotten 3,250 USD in that 10 emGuarde sale. And after a 200 group sale, you sell it to another amazing diamond like Mr. Sam Sia. In that emGuarde sale, you would have gotten commission of 390, but 390, imagine he goes out there and sells, let's say, 139,000 USD. Imagine that. You become a 6A. Now, let's take a pause here. After seeing this business plan, do you feel like, wow, this business is amazing? If you think it's amazing, type in the money sign in the group chat. Type in the money sign if you like the commissions that are coming in. This could be you. If you decide and say yes to the emGuarde business, you say yes to the business point, you say yes to growing your business, this could be you. I was here once. If I could do it, you can definitely do it 2 times, 3 times even better than me. Yeah, we love the commission coming in. Exactly. Now, another observation here, my friends. You've seen the business plan. You've seen this patented compensation plan. The business in Magic Company, as I told you already, they are very, very transparent with how they pay out to distributors. Now, a big, who here wants to have, let me ask you for the people here in this container, who here wants a, what do you call that? A gem here. I'm gonna give out a great value of gem here. If you wanna hear what the gem is, type gem in the group chat. I'm gonna give you a big gem hint in this business that will help you grow even faster. If you want to hear that, type in gem in the group chat if you wanna know what it's about. Now, for those of you who said gem, all right, I will tell you. A big clue in this business and how to become successful in this business is right in front of your face. Look at the business plan. Where does the money comes in? Does the money comes in your direct sale or your indirect sale? Type in the group chat. Does the big money comes in from your direct sale or your indirect sale? Type in the group chat. What do you think? Is it from your direct or indirect? Brilliant. Indirect. All the friends here, you are brilliant and absolutely amazing. Yes, correct. It is your indirect sales. You can become the best salesman in the world doing every direct sale, selling 200 emGuardes to become a 6A. You know, you could be that. I'm not saying you can't. But that could be a bit tiring in the long run. It could be, you could burn out in the long run because you are the only one in this business. As you mentioned, the big money comes in from your indirect business. The company is showing you a big hint. To be successful in this business is to build a team. Build a team. You don't want to do this business alone. In order to become successfully, amazingly successful in this business, find your diamonds, build a business with them, yeah? So that is a big gem that I will leave it to you. Tom just asked why 200 in Kangen isn't, yes, you are right. In Kangen machines, if you sold solely just Kangen, you need 100 group sales to become a 6A. But for emGuarde, it's half a point, which means that In order to become a 6A, you need 200 emGuarde group sale if you're solely selling emGuarde. Yeah? So I hope that answers your question. All right, I've left you with that gem. Let me just end slide here. Awesome. All right. We've come to the end of this session, but don't leave. I have 2 more things that I want to share with you. And it's another exciting thing. This week, happening in Malaysia, we have 2 big events. I know some of you who already bought your ticket, you already reached out to me and shared this with me. You're like, I'm coming, I can't wait to see you. I cannot wait to see you too. I'm going to share with you the 2 big events. It's not too late to book your tickets. Let me just bring it up. It's not too late to book your tickets. We have 2 big events happening on the 13th and the 14th. So the 13th we're happening is the ENAGIC Recognition Award, Chartering for the Future and Celebrating the Success. It's going to happen in the Crystal Ballroom Level 1 of Hilton Petaling Jaya. This is happening in Malaysia on the 13th of January, Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have the ENAGIC brand ambassador, Mr. Kaz Yokoya, to come in and share about the business, share about more clarity about the company itself. You do not want to miss it. I believe tickets are still available. There's a registration code right there. So if you want to scan it through, buy your tickets, and we're going to make your weekend worthwhile. Not only 13th of January is happening, on the 14th, we have this reputable Essential Kangen Workshop, the amazing Essential Kangen Workshop. We call this the EKW, where doubts about Kangen are cleared and clarity gotten. It's going to happen on a Sunday, 14th of January from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Mid Valley City. So you can register now. I believe we still have tickets going. So this weekend is going to be jam-packed with a lot of amazing events. Not only you get to learn about the company, you get to hear about how can you get more clarity in this business? How can you be more confident in the Kangen products? We're going to go dive into the details of it. So don't miss out. This is an amazing event and you don't want to miss out. Let me just see if Mr. Simon, are you here? Just texted me earlier.